Hey, warrior friends. Happy Monday. I'm so excited for a brand new warrior conversation with my warrior friend Danielle. Today we're going to be diving into, hey Danielle, we're going to be diving into what it means to choose to be you, how to choose to be you, and how to live and walk in freedom. It's going to be an incredible conversation. I cannot wait to kick it off. Thank you so much, all of you who are joining us. Let Danielle and I know that you're joining this conversation by just saying hello in the comments. I would love to see you joining us for this warrior conversation. Danielle, I saw that you hopped on, so just click request to go live and I will accept that request. Elin, it's good to see you. Courtney, hey everybody. I'm glad you're joining in. And hey, let me know also as you're commenting where you're joining us from, because I love to see where you're joining us from. Hey, Courtney. All right, we'll get this warrior conversation kicked off. And Danielle.
Hello.
Hey, it is so good to see you, warrior friend.
Oh,
How are you?
see you. Good. Much better than last time that we were supposed to connect. Last time, just as a precautionary, they ended up wanting to admit him to the hospital for fluids, and I was like, okay. So I had to text Emily last second. I was like, I am so sorry, but such is life.
And one of your babies, having to go. It's so hard and sad, and I'm glad he's doing okay now.
Yeah, doing good. He's doing good. The stomach bug just hit everybody just right.
How old is your son again? Remind me.
He just turned 1 on Thursday.
Goodness. Wow. It's so crazy.
I know.
Goodness, girl.
Well,
the finale. Thank you. Yeah, seriously. Thank you for joining this warrior conversation today. I cannot wait to dive in, and I get so excited to see you and chat with you. So I just start talking, but I know not all of my warrior friends know you yet. So before we just dive into all things on freedom and your book, who is Danielle? If someone wasn't familiar with you.
Yeah, well, so I am an Army wife. I'm a mom of 4, but I'm also an author. I'm a speaker, and I have my book, Fighting for Freedom, and founder of Catalyst Women. So one of my best friends, Morgan, she and I co-founded a faith-based women's group about 4.5 years ago now, just to encourage women to know their identity, their purpose in God first, and then to take that and then apply it to the season and circumstances of their life to totally walk out that freedom. And so in a nutshell, that is who I am.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And we connected years ago. It's been we've known each other for a long time now. Did we originally meet through Foresight and Jenny?
We did. Our paths crossed through ministry. And so that was kind of my background was church, vocational ministry. And I also did wedding planning years ago. So I've got to try on all sorts of different hats, just along the way. But yeah, that's paths crossed.
That's because you're talented at everything, Danielle. Everything you put your hand to, you're a rock star.
Or just an activator that yes, I'll try this. Yes, I'll try this. And then I'm like, we'll just, do this for a season and God releases you and you move on.
That is true. And it's fun to be able to try different things and be a catalyst for different moments starting, Hey, I want to dive straight into this conversation. And the first question I want to ask you before we go into your book in a couple minutes is, what does this statement mean to you? Choose to be you. It's something that we say at BecomingMeTV a lot. And I think the concept resonates with your book and what you're doing at Catalyst Women. So what does that statement mean to Danielle?
So I think when you choose to be you, all of us were born with this incredible DNA, this intentional, on purpose design that God created in our mother's womb. And as we grow and go through all of our developmental stages and seasons of life, right, there's this figuring out of who I am and why am I this way, and what is relatable about me, what do I like about myself, what am I changing, right? Even as a 4-year-old, I can see that in my son, that he's processing that. And then as an adult, you're constantly evaluating yourself. And so I think especially in this day and age where we have social media and everything is so easily comparable, competitive, and, oh, this worked for this person, so maybe that'll apply to me. I think choosing to be you is a very intentional pause to who am I at my deepest core? How has God wired me and created me? And maybe it's even these things that you've been apologizing your whole life that you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so this, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be blah, 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 or I'm sorry. And what if that's actually how God wired you and created you on purpose, because there is a void and a gap with that. And he needs you to be that person, and he needs you to show up that way, because there is a whole group of people. There's a whole generation even of people that are crying out saying, well, nobody else looks like this. So maybe I'm not, maybe I was created wrong. And so when I hear that term, choose to be you, I think that there's this beautiful pause that has to happen that says, how did God create me? And I know that it's on purpose. And so I'm going to claim that as my truth, that it was on purpose and for a purpose. And then I'm going to celebrate these strengths, right? And everybody, like whoever hears this, I just want to encourage you. Every single person's strength can equally be their weakness if it is not a controlled strength. And so the way that God made you and wired you and created you, it's a beautiful thing, and it's an on purpose thing. And so I think choosing to be you is the best way. I would just say it's an intentional pause to figure out how God's created you and who he's designed you to be, and celebrate that and decide to grow in that.
Oh, okay. I literally love how you just described choose to be you. And the theme that keeps resonating for me and why I'm so excited about this conversation is I really think from what you just shared, choosing to be you is choosing to walk in freedom. You talked a lot about letting go of things that perhaps labels, identities that you've been carrying with you, things that maybe people have said over you in your life, and choosing to pause and discover, like, how did God create me uniquely on purpose and for a purpose?
Yeah.
And when we discover that, like, there is no greater freedom in the world. And so walk me through first, you showed us your book. And so your book is all on how to find freedom, right? So what does that even mean? Like, freedom is a huge word, but what does it mean to find and walk in freedom?
So at the very basis, I would tell you that finding freedom is deciding to identify the key lies from the enemy that he tells you, because we all have them, and they're not going to be the same for every single person. But one of the key lies, for example, that the enemy loves to like try and trip me up on is that if people really knew how you were or who you were, then they wouldn't like you, or they wouldn't accept you. Or if you could just get your stuff together, Danielle, as a mom or as a business owner, as a wife, like, then you'd be enough. But because you can't, you aren't. Like, it's these subtle lies. And again, it's going to be different for everybody. But fighting for freedom is at the very basis is identifying what are these key lies that I keep coming back to, that I keep getting stuck at, and how do I take these lies, call them out for what they are, which is a straight lie from the enemy, and replacing them with God-given truth, even if you don't feel it, even if you don't see it, even if you're not experiencing it right now. And it's replacing that lie with God-given truth and deciding to put a stake in the ground. This is actually my identity. This is the truth of what I have been designed for, what I've been called to. And I may not see it, but I'm going to step out in faith. Like, before the Red Sea was parted, Moses had to put the staff in the water. The Red Sea hadn't parted yet. He hadn't stepped in it. He had to put the staff in the water. And so take it like that. That is your lie. You're putting the staff in the ground. Enough is enough. I'm not partnering with this lie anymore. I'm not believing this lie anymore. And once we begin to, like, so Caroline Leaf, she is a brain neurologist, neuroscientist. She's incredible. And she's done all these studies of how you can actually change your brain. And so it comes back to the scripture of renewing our mind. And so even in that, like, that's what's so powerful about lies from the enemy. How you choose to partner with what you believe reflects in your life, reflects in your mindset, your heart, your spirit, all of the things. And so fighting for freedom is really that. It's just choosing to identify those key lies, breaking ties with them, drawing a line in the sand, replacing it with God's given truth. So you walk that out to know, no, this is actually who I am. Because the enemy does not want us to know our purpose. He does not know. Because as chosen daughters of the King, if we were to actually walk out what he's called us to with confidence, with boldness, with joy, and an unapologetic pursuit of the presence of God, justice and righteousness and all the things, we would not be having some
Oh
of the
yeah.
things that we're navigating right now in our season of life. Like, it just wouldn't be.
Yeah. Girl, drop the mic. Oh my goodness. What you just shared is so powerful. And, I want to follow up with this question because for those of us who are joining either live or they're listening to this replay later, I 100% agree with you. Like choosing to walk in, experience, discover freedom, the basis of choosing to be you, it really is identifying, naming those lies, putting your stake in the ground and declaring like with your warrior boots laced up, I am not walking in those lies anymore. But how true is it that sometimes when we're in the middle of those lies, that's really hard. Like on the healthy freedom side, man, warrior verbiage, it's easy, it resonates. But when we're in the middle of those lies and our just mind and our hearts are clouded with that stuff, how, Danielle, can somebody today take one step to just move forward in identifying, naming, putting their stake in the ground, and choosing to be the warrior God made them to be?
I think that's a great question because we all have those seasons. And so if you're in a season like that, I just want to encourage you that number one, you're not alone. Number two, there's nothing wrong with you. Like I just had that season last week, like just
Yes.
7 days ago. Like I just had to, reach out to a few girlfriends for prayer that I was like, I don't know what this heaviness is, but I'm really working hard not to partner with it, but it is really kicking my tail. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, one of the best ways that I process with things and what I encourage in my book is to just begin to write out what you're seeing, because there is so much power in exposing light with darkness. And sometimes when we begin to see what we're feeling, what we are thinking in our heads, it would be like, oh my gosh, I would never allow my friend to feel this way about herself. I would never allow, my sister to say this about herself. So why would I? And it's just having those kind of tough conversations. So I would say if you're in that season, begin to write it down, whether that's on your phone. I love a pen and paper. Like I just love a good pen and paper. I like off. There's physical, like just joy. And so get it out of you. That's my big thing, is just get it out. I don't care how it comes out, but it needs to come out. And don't blame yourself for it. Just get it out. And then tell yourself, I don't feel like changing maybe this because like this may be how I'm feeling, but somebody has to lead you in that moment. And if it's not you, then call some girl who's going to tell you, do not partner with this lie. And then begin to, if you're struggling with something of self-worth, if you're struggling with something of belief, if you're struggling with something of, just worth is the biggest thing for women. But so there's so many scriptures. If you're struggling with fear, even there's over like 365 scriptures on fear. You could just pick one for every day if you so choose, but find a God-given truth to replace lie, and then start to make that your new narrative. Every time that lie comes up, every time it trips you up, you may stumble for the first few times, but that's not what we're celebrating, that you don't stumble or trip or have a hard day. We're celebrating that you are retraining your mind to replace the narrative to step into freedom.
Ooh, I love it. So we're writing it down. We're getting it out, whether it is on pen and paper or it's on your phone, but we're writing it down. We're then
process it.
Yeah, exactly. We're processing it. Then we're asking someone else to speak it out over us and to hold us accountable. So when we get it out, we're inviting someone else, like you shared last week. You called some of your friends and they helped remind you and are praying with you.
Yeah.
And then third, we're shining the light of God's word on whatever lie that is. And I love how you even, you highlighted that, because it's so easy to put a phone screensaver on your phone or put sticky notes on your bathroom mirror, in your car. Like surround yourself with that truth. And then every single time those lies pop up, you're just reminding like, nope, this is not what I'm choosing. But I really love what you said at the end too. We're not, and it's celebrating that step that we're taking today. It's not beating ourselves up that we're feeling this way, but the win is we're choosing to not stay there.
Yes.
And that's a win.
Oh
for
my
sure.
And sometimes that small win is the best that you can do, and that win is worth celebrating. Because
oh yeah
if the enemy wants nothing more than to just pull you back. Like, I mean, I wrote a whole book on this, and I still had a hard week last week where I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like, Lord, like, shouldn't I be past this? And then it's like, okay, you're actually refining me in the process of this. So Holy Spirit, show me what I'm to learn so I don't miss. And, you know, it took me like a day or two to recover from it. Like a month ago, it may have taken me 3 days. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, the thing is that the Lord he showed me so many good things. I reached out to people. I replaced the lies, and I was like, no, I am enough. Like, I mean, literally one day I turned on worship music and I said, I am not partnering with a spirit of heaviness today. I declare victory over my day. I declare victory over my marriage. I declare victory over my kids. And I was like, worship music is staying on all day. No spirit, but the Holy Spirit is welcome here. And we're done. Like, we're just done. Like, I was like, and it, like, the heaviness didn't leave all day, but it was a drastic shift.
I love it. And you've mentioned your book a couple times. You showed us in the beginning. Show me your book again, because I'm so excited. Okay, so for somebody who maybe can't see the title, what is the title of your book, Danielle?
It's Fighting for Freedom. And so I'm a martial artist, and I did karate for 10 years, and I have a first-degree black belt. And so I always identified as this term as a fighter, and I just never thought anything of it. And then I'm a military spouse. And so in the book, I even write, like, I have a second row seat to war, because my husband's, he's been, you know, to enemy territory 4 times. He's done 6 deployments total, but like 4 for combat. And so I've had various just lenses at the table, essentially, of fighting. And so what's really cool is in every chapter, the last 7 chapters, I parallel a spiritual strategy to a physical fighting strategy. So, like, keeping your arms up, elbows in, like thumbs tucked in. Yeah. And doing counters, because your opponent, like, they never come, you know, just like one punch is not enough. Like, you always do a counter, which is like 3 parts. And so anyway, I dive into that too. And so just for people who are like, I wasn't planning on learning any self-defense today, but sure, why not? Like,
Hey, but self-defense is in your mind too, which is what we've been talking about. And in order to fight the lies, we got to know how to self-defend. So I love it. I'm all about it. Where can people buy your book, by the way?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon, or you can go to my website, catalystwomen.info, and you can buy it there too. But Amazon is the best.
Yay! Seriously, like it, and everything that you've been sharing today is gold. And what I love about your book is, for any of us who perhaps are like, we've been nodding the entire time that Danielle has been talking, be like, yeah, I get what she's saying about the lies that come in, and having to name and identify those lies and give them to God, write it out, asking people to help me, surrounding myself with God's spirit and no other spirit. Like, the best part about this conversation is the conversation doesn't have to end right now. Like, there's an incredible resource in Danielle's book. And if anything in today's conversation has resonated with you, I could not encourage you enough to literally, when this conversation ends, go to Amazon, buy her book, and keep learning these truths, because this kind of self-defense is the foundation for becoming who you want to be in life. Like, if we cannot master and control and own our minds and take captive the lies that we're letting hold us captive, we're just not going to become who we dream of being. And so this is critical to our becoming journeys. I cannot recommend Danielle's book more, and follow her on Instagram, because literally, like, also listening to you and your voice, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go on a run. I'm ready to go, like, do some warrior work. And you have that, like, warrior encouraging presence about you, which is what I get on Instagram and all of that from you all the time. So y'all follow Danielle and buy her book.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Well, and if anybody would like to just kind of continue the conversation further, I would love to just share. You can reach out to me on Instagram, DM me. I hope that's okay, Emily.
Yes, go for it.
Morgan and I are working on some new things coming down the pipeline. So there's, just a lot of stuff that we feel like the Lord's really been moving. And so, yeah, we're excited, expectant, but it's going to be a lot more I would say like hands-on fighting, if you want to
Ooh,
tactics and application and strategy.
girl, I'm excited. This is amazing. You know, is there anything else that you want to share in this warrior conversation before people go buy your book and they're following you and they continue learning? Anything else you want to share in this space?
Yeah, there is. I would love to just encourage, like the word talks about that. We are a whole body. And so every single part of the body is needed. And comparison is the thief of joy. And so we're going to sit here and we're going to compare, well, this person does it this way. If I only had it that way, that's a lie from the enemy. If this, if I only had X, Y, and Z like circumstances or whatnot, like that's a distraction tactic from the enemy. If you could literally just go through and compare and contrast and all of these things. And I just want to encourage that who you are already and when you choose to be you is what is essential to the part of the body. And if you choose to show up, then an essential part of the body is missing. And so, I don't know if you've been feeling or feeding lies to yourself, accepting lies about yourself, partnering with lies about yourself, but I just want to speak this over you. And I want to encourage you as a friend and as a leader. And, I don't know you, but obviously I know you, Emily, but a voice of authority, if I may so say that, you are essential. You are who you are is needed. And there has never been a more desperate time in our world that we need you as a daughter of the King, as a warrior, to step up and lead well and boldness in who God's created you to be and the strengths that he's given you and entrusted you with. And that does not mean to just go out and just be like, well, she said to be bold, so I'm going to be bold. No, that means you first submit it every single day in your quiet time in the presence of God. You get in his word and you just let his word refine you, sharpen you. So that way, when you go out, you are you are in the presence of God first. Then you approach every situation with humility, with love, in pursuit of justice and righteousness. But you have a confidence and a boldness that you are essential. You deserve to be in the season that you're in because he has equipped you and entrusted you for such a time as this. So that would just be my closing encouragement.
Whoo, man. Okay. I literally had going through my mind earlier when you shared about asking other people to speak into you. Y'all, just save this Instagram live after we post the replay or the podcast and the audio later and play those last 30 seconds of Danielle talking on a day that you're feeling like these lies are crazy heavy and you need to hear audibly someone else reminding you of who you are and that you're essential. Play these last 30 seconds back. For real. I know I will be. So thank you. That was powerful. Danielle, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your time, for speaking into us. You're a warrior and I treasure you, friend. You're amazing.
Well, I'm so thankful for you and I'm so thankful to be on this journey with you. There's nothing, just community. I mean, you are amazing, Emily, and the presence that you carry and how you inspire and encourage people to keep showing up and sharpening their swords. Like, it's just the best. So,
well, you make me better. I appreciate you. So thank you. And thank you all for joining us for this warrior conversation. So much fun. Now go buy Danielle's book. I'll talk to you later, warrior friend. Bye, y'all.